mention the team's place kicker's name. Jaeger kicks it off to Denver. It's Bell and Humphrey, and Bell takes it at the 9. And Stephon Humphrey, Adams can't tackle him. Stephon Humphreys can't either. He quit after last year here in Denver, and it's first down for Denver at the 20-yard line. John Elway and Jay Schrader, comparing them statistically. Both men with about equal yardage, but Elway getting 2 touchdowns while Schrader intercepted once, and he also fumbled once that led to a score. They're so much alike, born on the same day, 1 year apart. Both grew up in Southern California, played against each other in high school, in football and in basketball. Both married wives that were athletic. It goes on and on. They've been tracing each other. Both played minor league baseball.
I might remind you, Dick, both hit very poorly in minor league baseball.
That's right. They were common in that regard. Well, no, actually, Elway hit over 300 this year in Oneonta, New York, while Schrader had trouble with the curveball after 4 years in the Blue Jay organization. And there they are. They were 79, drafted Schrader in the first round. Dan Marino of Miami in the 4th round. Infielder, third baseman, John Elway in the 18th by the Royals, eventually signed with the Yankees. And Don Mattingly, who's he playing for? The Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I guess it is.
Schrader started late, and he's in pretty good shape now to become one of the better quarterbacks.
Second down, 6. No reason to take any chances, Denver, and so the Raiders will play defensively that way. Humphrey gets another yard or 2. He led the Broncos in rushing with 41 yards in the first half. Marcus Allen had 44 to lead the Raiders.
Well, now it's time for the Denver running offense to show. 28-0. Obviously, they've got a commanding lead. They can use the clock, develop that running game, and this is the time to take a look at these offensive linemen and use different combinations of blocking, different combinations of plays. They'll have them on tape. They have a good chance to utilize them. Meanwhile, the Raiders are desperate. They've got to make big plays. They've got to come up with something real fast.
Sometimes Elway in this situation will use a draw of the shotgun. No, that won't be the case. 3rd and 4. And it's intercepted. Lionel Washington. And Washington heading for the end zone. A Raider touchdown.
Well, he made something happen. That was the blitz that Mike Shanahan talked about before the game. A 3-man line in a nickel situation, bringing a man off the corner. In this case, it was Van McElroy. Put the heat on Elway. Elway threw a bad ball. First bad ball of the day. Shotgun formation. McElroy will come from the left of the screen. John's in pretty good shape here, but you see 2 defensive backs on him, and that's just a bad throw. John threw it off the back foot. Again, the running game is critical now. Use the clock. 3rd and 5. Take advantage of it.
Oh, it took the Raiders a minute and 41 seconds to score here in the second half as Lionel Washington gets a 32-yard touchdown. At 17 career interceptions, and that's his 2nd touchdown. Adding the extra point is Jaeger. And if the Raiders needed anything to cure all the wounds and make them feel better, that was it. Lionel Washington with a quick score on the turnover. In the end zone it goes. Ken Bell sits it down for the touchback at the 20-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown interception by Washington.
Well, what we got was a blitz from the outside from both defensive backs. Elway looking upfield with an automatic throw outside, but he just lost track of his receiver. So we see 2 people coming right up the field. Lee's really unblocked, and we had too deep a pattern for the throw, so it's really hard to understand, other than just being sort of reckless when that running game should have been utilized. Let's see what they do now. Go to the running game, John. Go to the running game.
Washington with his 2nd career touchdown with an interception. And now on first down at the 20, tackled is the fullback Alexander. Again, for those of you who joined us late, the 2 big differences on the offensive side of the ball for the bigger, bulkier Denver team. They were always oversized on offense and defense, and Elway put it very succinctly. He said, for the first time, I'm not the biggest guy in the backfield. He's got Alexander at 232 and Melvin Bratton at 225. And the other is, for the first time, we have sweeps. We can get the ball outside. Bobby Humphrey has the speed to get around the corner. The Denver attack had always been tackle to tackle.
They've got the big blocker, the fine running back, a bigger line, as Dick indicated. The pressure's off. Here's the sweep.
Here's Humphrey. And he cuts it upfield in a hurry and has the first down.
Just a movement play that we're going to see with 2 guards out in front. What we're going to get is blocking down a fullback outside, but look at both guards coming to the outside with that speed. They just took at the edge of the defense all the way around the corner, and that's just hard running right up the field by Bobby Humphrey. That's what they were looking for in a runner. They finally have it. Of course, the pressure's off John Elway. Every team he's been on, from high school, Granada Hills in Southern California to Stanford, every team, he's had to carry it and be expected to win, even his Super Bowl teams. With this kind of a running game, it puts Denver in the big-time slot, so to speak. They've been in the Super Bowl, but now they'll be able to compete with the big physical teams.
There's the ice truck. Gerald Perry, 305-pound tackle down on that last play. Now they got outside with Humphrey for 10, and now they get 5 with a power back Alexander. Timeout for the injury. They go to that running game. They got the 2 young men in there. Alexander, and it's play action to him, and then the throw outside to Humphrey, the other back. And Bobby Humphrey is a talent. He has a first down at the 46. Zeff Lee and Lionel Washington make the tackle.
Just combining that trap play, they've run 3 different times I can recall with the play pass. Pulling guard, fake up inside to Alexander. Humphrey's outside. Problem. Play the trap or cover the pass. That time was beautifully executed.
And Humphrey putting some moves to free himself from Zeff Lee. Vance Johnson to the left, the artist. Mark Jackson to the right. Humphrey now shifts into the tail of the eye. Humphrey straight ahead to the 48-yard line. Gerald Perry working on his lower left leg or knee. Jim Jariga's own teammate and a pilot landed in that leg, and they're working on both sides, testing the knee strength. One of many nicknames on this Denver team, the Ice Truck, is there's the Duke and Big Money, and there's Ice Truck, Big Dog, Smiley, Chubb, Sluggo, Gumby. And the Smiling Assassin will put the names with those monikers after this play. What'd they call you, Walsh? Did they ever have a nickname for you?
I think it's Spider, believe it or not.
Spider.
It had nothing to do with sports.
The throw outside, incomplete to Humphrey. Okay, while you spin away over there in the corner with your web, let's see who belongs to those. Well, the Duke, there's the Duke. John Elway, that swagger of his. Big Money is Bobby Humphrey. He's playing like it. Perry the Ice Truck. Big Dog Ken Lanier. Smiley is Steve Sewell. Alfonso Character is Chubb. Mark Munford, the linebacker, is Sluggo. Dennis Smith is Gumby. And Steve Atwater, the Smiling Assassin.
Well, again, Denver's been caught throwing the ball. They had an incomplete pass. Again, that running game would be good to go to it and just test it.
3rd and 8, Elway in the shotgun. 9:49 left in the 3rd. Good protection. And incomplete. Mark Jackson with Terry McDaniel all around him. In fact, McDaniel came up figuring he should have had the interception.
That would have brought it right together.
He had a shot. We have a flag down, and it's, I guess time had run out on Elway. Maybe there's no play.
Illegal substitution foul. 12 men on the field. Defense. 3rd down again.
Illegal substitution against Dave Adolph's Raider defense. They had too many men on the field, and so Elway gets another play.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got 11 there. Oh, there he is, 12. I guess 12 people.
That'll do it.
This is the kind of thing. This is the kind of thing that'll trouble Al Davis. It's a minor item down 28-7. Minor item, but this is the kind of thing that'll gall Al, and Dave Adolph will hear about it.
Instead of 4th down and having to give up the ball, Elway gets another play, and a timeout has been taken by Denver. 28-7 in the 3rd. And they'd rather beat than the Raiders in this town in Denver, and they're up 28-7, and they get a free play now. It's 3rd down and 3 after the too many men on the field call against the Raiders. Here's the draw coming up to Winder, and Winder has the first down as he slugs it to the 42 of the Raiders. So that penalty costly. Instead of getting the ball, Denver maintains possession, and of course they're trying to chew up as much time as they can. And this is where the old 45-second clock rather than the 30-second clock really helps a team that has the big lead.
Right, they can use this clock, and I'd assume they would. A lot of time left in the ball game. That time the Raiders sort of fell into a Denver trap. They tried to blitz with their 3-man nickel, 2 defensive backs, and left a big hole inside.
Jim McMahon has thrown a touchdown pass, and the Chargers lead Kansas City 14-6 now in the third. Elway, and he had to unload Alexander, who was well covered by McElroy. Tom Benson was shooting through on Elway.
Well, we got Perry right back inside. Perry has not been a quick athlete. Now with knee problems, the Raiders will have a chance to pass rush. If so, make it the sack, I guess. But the problem here, I think, for Denver is they're trying a lot of special plays, play actions to get their first downs instead of just hammering out. We've had 2 sweeps, 2 big sweeps to the left, no sweep to the right, and that's the kind of thing they'd want to develop because they got Cleveland next week, and we have to run on Cleveland.
Well, you saw the good news for Denver. Gerald Perry, all right, he's back in at left tackle. And second down, batted at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. Well, the Raiders really coming after Elway in this third period.
Well, they're going to be blitzing, trying to make something happen. But Perry's back in the game, and right away he's got a pass, and he's going to have real problems to his outside. Those feet just aren't going to be moving. You see, he just gets knocked off balance very quickly. He's had a problem before on quickness. In fact, both Lanier and Perry are much better run blockers than pass blockers. But again, right away he goes in, he's got a big pass block.
Greg Townsend, and rather quiet, talked with him. He thought this was going to be a big day for him. He has not created much turmoil defensively. Here come the safeties right up on the line of scrimmage, Anderson and McElroy, and they're coming after him. And Elway throwing for Johnson, intercepted by Mike Haynes. And a flag is down as Haynes, the veteran, is tackled at the 35-yard line. And they may be calling interference against the Raiders.
Again, they're going to the pass. Raider blitz. They hadn't had that interference call, Dick. You had another interception, probably unnecessary. I don't want to just keep harping on that running game, but
when you're ahead by 3 touchdowns, you.
Yeah.
Jerry Mark Bright.
2 fouls on the play. Holding number 66, offense. Pass interference, number 40, defense. Penalties declined. Hold down. Penalties offset.
So no interception. Zeph Lee was the other man with Haynes covering Vance Johnson. Haynes made a fine interception. Would have been his 47th career theft, but it is nullified on the double penalties, and it'll be third down again for Denver and 10.
I'm not sure the momentum's changing at all. I'm not sure of that. But Denver's playing into the Raider hands now. If another incomplete pass, the Raiders are going to have a chance at it.
And it's Elway from the shotgun. He moves Winder to the other side. And here comes the scramble. And the gun, incomplete. Boy, does he throw well. That was Steve Sewell, the intended receiver, but running a right-handed man, running to his left and able to throw a ball that kind of velocity.
He's unique. He's probably the only, maybe Cunningham from Philadelphia can do it, but John's one of the very unique people, going left, throwing right. And at Granada Hills High School, recruiting him as I did when I was at Stanford, he did this kind of thing. It was just a zany thing. He can go left, turn, and fire a ball back to the inside.
So he was the kind of guy, even if you could think back the days in high school, you'd say, when that young guy grows up, there's a #1 draft pick. He was that good then, even?
You know he'd be an NFL star with that great athletic ability. Every team he's been on, he's carried in a sense.
Here's Horan to punt. Deep to return is Bobby Joe Edmonds at the 10. So with 8:38 left in the third, the Raiders trailing by 3 touchdowns will get it back. Horan with a terrific kick. Look at that. Out of bounds and 2-yard line. He kicked it right to his man. Darren Carrington, the rookie, was standing at the 2, and Horan just laid it right in his lap. What a kick.
Absolutely beautiful. Timed shot down the field.
Did the same thing in the first half. He kicked it to the sidelines at the 5-yard line. Maybe the best in the NFL at it. Mike Horan. He's an engineer. He's got all the angles figured. Other scores, finals, Buffalo, San Francisco coming back from 11 points down. There are your other finals. Flag is down as we await this official conference, and you look at the scores. The late games, Miami leading, San Diego leading, and the Rams apparently going to win their third. Baseball, Baltimore loses, but so does Toronto. So the Blue Jays remain 1 up. Oakland wins. Kansas City wins. The Angels lose. So it's 5.5 game lead for Oakland over both the Angels and Royals.
We have a member of the kicking team going out of bounds and coming back in to down the kick before it was touched by the receivers. I'm now going to give the option to the Raiders. There's an option of a re-kick or the result of the play.
Well, there's no doubt what they'll take then. Mike Horan says, can you explain that? We didn't have that in engineering school back at Cal State Long Beach, but what it amounts to is, Mike, you're going to go back on the field and kick again. Get your helmet on. Carrington, the rookie, really got in the way of the play. Didn't need to down it. The ball was going to go out anyway.
It looked like he just ran. Well, he just got in the way of the ball. See, he's out of bounds. Now he's back in to hit the ball.
Now that is a good call, because the way the ball was bouncing, had he not stopped it, it would have gone in the end zone.
He would have stopped it, yeah.
So Horan now will come back on and kick it again.
He probably won't have any problem with that accuracy.
Well, he led the league last year in net yardage punting, 37.8, almost 38 yards a punt net. And part of it was because of just this talent, kicking the ball out of bounds.
Well, a good net is 31 or 32, so he's just far and above everyone else. What a difference.
Finish up the other baseball scores. The Cubs beat Pittsburgh today. St. Louis wins, so the Cardinals' hopes are flickering but still alive. They meet in the final series of the season. Montreal beats New York. San Francisco winning again, and San Diego and the Dodgers tied in the 7th.
4th down.
Horan, who in the offseason has been working in designing manned and unmanned radar equipment, radar and sonar. That sounds like pretty good training for a kicker trying to aim that ball out of bounds. Maybe he's got a little beeper set up in those corners. Let's see if he can do it again.
Good off-season job for him. I'm sure he didn't get that at the employment office.
Well, last year he kicked 19 times inside the 20 until the last game against Cleveland, when he had 2 touchbacks. Anything drive a coach crazier than having a short kick and kicking right down the middle and right through the end zone?
And you look for the average. You get the younger punter just seeing that average, get it over the goal line, anything, get the average up.
Raiders with 10 men on the line of scrimmage. And this one is down the middle. Edmonds lets it bounce, and it goes into the end zone. So for the first time this year, Horan finds the end zone, the touchback, and the Raiders at the 20. 47 yards, but only 27 net on that one. Well, next Sunday, week 4, begins at 12:30 Eastern time. These Broncos will be in Cleveland. The Browns play Cincinnati tomorrow night. We could have a matchup of unbeatens there. Cincinnati, Kansas City, Miami, and Houston. Indianapolis and the Jets. New England, Buffalo. Buffalo pleased with that big overtime win. Pittsburgh and Detroit will be in the Coliseum to see Seattle. They won today against the Raiders, and San Diego at Phoenix. So be with us on NBC. Now here's a time where Schrader and the Raider offense has to get something on the board. Down the middle to Mueller, incomplete.
That is a tough ball to catch, because Mueller knows that weak safety is coming over. He's got one of the big hitters in the league in Smith, and he sort of gave it a shot, but you just can't lead a guy too far on that.
Broncos were offside on the play. That'll cost them 5. We talked with Dennis Smith, the veteran safety, and asked him about Steve Atwater, his new partner on that back line. You talk about a pair. No one in the league close to having. One guy's 6'3", Smith. The other is 6'4", Atwater. They both weigh 215 or more. And what did he say when he said, what about Atwater?
I just want to be near the tackle, because the ball is going to bounce out of there. He's going to knock the ball out, and I want to pick up that fumble. And they both feel that way.
Yeah, they'll force some fumbles.
Both have that size and range.
From the 25. Marcus Allen at 44 yards in the first half. He's short of the first down. Buffalo game, Atwater was injured. He injured a thigh, had a thigh bruise. They say that he's got thighs like Earl Campbell. He said that they're so big that his thigh pad doesn't cover the whole front of the leg, and actually injured his thigh. There you see the back side of it. Boy, he does have, for a man that looks so angular, huge thighs.
They say he's another Earl Campbell from his thigh size. But the key for this guy is he makes the big stops. He can play the ball in the air, but the leadership quality, they needed young leadership on this club. So many of the people were released. They released Mike Harden. Mike was a fine safety for Denver for a number of years, but they felt they had to make room for Atwater, and Harden had to go. He couldn't be a backup. He wasn't a special teams player. So from the standpoint of Harden, he's now on the other team playing football, and the Raiders need him desperately because Van McElroy is playing both safety positions in a sense.
Schrader in traffic. Now finds Allen wide open, 45-50. Oh, nice move by Allen, but able to make the tackle was Wyman Henderson at the Denver 49. First down, 24 yards on the play.
Wyman Henderson, we had him for the strike games, and he played for us. We released him with the 49ers, and the key for a lot of these players, he's not marginal players, but young journeyman players, is try to stay with it, because he came to us. He went to Green Bay, I believe it was. Minnesota. Now he's back here and playing full-time, got interceptions, and they're counting on him. And here was a player during the work stoppage, during the strike, that was a fill-in player.
So first down for the Raiders at the Bronco 49. Trailing 28-7 with 6:35 left third quarter. Underneath again to Allen. Working on those linebackers. And here comes Tyrone Braxton to make the tackle, the other corner. Two new corners in this rebuilt defense of Wade Phillips in Denver, Braxton and Henderson.
Well, we're going to get a crossing pattern, and what we're going to do is get Marcus Allen crossing the field to the other side while the others clear out. Now, this is the kind of thing that Jay Schrader should be doing, the Raiders should be doing. There's no use bothering with a run now other than as a changeup. Just these short intermediate passes. You don't want to wear Marcus Allen out, but he is a fine receiver. Both backs are good receivers. Just ball control. Try to get bigger chunks of yardage at this point in the game. They have to.
Allen with over 100 yards now running and receiving. And here's Steve Smith on the draw. And he gets it to the 30-yard line and a gain of about 7-8 more before Atwater and Braxton can make the tackle.
I'd like to see the Raiders go with a no huddle here just to see what the Denver defense would do. Maybe they could straighten that defense out from the standpoint of getting the same alignment every play and then begin to throw their ball control passes.
Well, Buffalo used that very effectively, rallying from a big deficit 21-0 on Monday night.
It's best when you use a tight end and two backs because you keep people in their base defense, much as we did in the Super Bowl in that last drive.
Second down 2. Draw again, and it's Vance Mueller, and he gets only a yard. He'll be short of the first down. Greg Cragen, the nose guard, doing a good job stacking up that play.
There's no need to be conservative at this point, and I know I'm overstating it, but down 28-7, they might as well drop back and throw their intermediate passes, maybe run a draw about every fourth play, but they've gotten away with it so far. It's not as though it's failed. They're getting good pass protection, and if they did that without a huddle, much as the Bengals do, I think they'd have a chance to get back in and score. Then who knows?
Actually, it's third down and 1. Ball on the 29. The stakes are at the 28. Marcus Allen fumbles. And the Raiders recover for the first time. The ball turned loose, and Broncos didn't fall on it.
I'm sure Al Davis would wonder about that call, Dick. They pulled it. They trapped on 3rd and 1. There's no need to. Marcus Allen goes over the top better than anybody in football. And they ran a trap play, exposed the ball. Now on 4th down, they're going to have to go for it.
They lost a yard on the fumble. Dennis Smith appeared to be the man that forced the fumble. Now it's 4th and 2, and of course they'll go for it with 4.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. And they're trying to score and cut that 28-0 lead in half, and Schrader calls time.
Marcus over the top, Dick. That's all they need.
Well, Mike Shanahan will visit with his quarterback. A crucial moment in this game as the Raiders try to mount what seems to be the insurmountable.
Hey, guys and grills, got some party time tips for you from Extra Gold.
So the Raider hopes really rest on this play. They don't make it. It remains 28-7, and the Broncos well in control. Actually, it's 4th and 2.5. And they're going to pass, and it doesn't work. Michael Brooks comes in untouched. Michael Brooks, the man who recorded the safety in Buffalo Monday night that started the Broncos to a win, he comes in clean.
Of all people, is the backside linebacker on the play. No one there to block him. No one there to block him. I'd assume the guard should have opened up and picked him up. But in the 4th down situation, what you're going to get is just a basic blitz, and the man's unblocked. Now that's inherently a problem.
Are you surprised they didn't go to play action there? It was a straight pass all the way. Didn't try to deceive anyone.
I think Marcus could have gone over the top, still made it.
Here comes Bobby Humphrey. He fumbles the ball, and the Raiders recover a live ball. Washington can still run, and he gets to the 30-yard line. So Humphrey hit. The Raiders get it right back. Tom Benson made the pop and knocked it free.
Now Raiders go down the field with this ball right now. Well, we get the same sweep for pulling people. The backside is picked up. The backside linebacker sifts behind the guards and gets it. The backside tackle should have gotten there. That's all there is to it.
You know what? Watch Washington here. If his own man doesn't fight him for the ball, Washington might have his second touchdown. He has one with an interception. See right there, his own man almost tackles him, or he's on his way. There were no Denver men downfield. Well, the ball at the 32-yard line on the turnover as that statistic begins to even up, although the Raiders' score resulted in 21 first-half points. Well, I don't know what this is unless the instant replay people are checking it out.
Well, it had to have been a fumble, and it had to have been a Raider ball.
Well, they might be saying,
Maybe
did he have a chance to get up after?
Down, yeah.
Was he knocked down by a Denver force? Didn't appear to be. It looked as if the Raiders themselves knocked their own man down.
23 seconds on the 30-second clock, please. 23 seconds.
You like the instant replay?
Well, I think it's here to stay. I'd say yes. Even if the officials now buy it. At one point, you almost felt the officials were sabotaging it in their own way. They didn't believe in it artistically and professionally. They didn't like somebody else making the call. But now, it's just part of the game. They don't depend on it, but it's proven to be pretty darn good this year. They've made some good reversals and proper reversals.
The play stands. Ball at the 32. Marcus in motion. Schrader throws underneath to the tight end Mike Dial, and Dial is hit by 3 Broncos as he gets to the 23.
Just hold the ball, Dial. Now get right up and run another play right now. The clock's running. You're in scoring position.
Would you really go to the quick or no huddle at this point?
They have to at this point if they're thinking of, any chance of winning. And they've got a chance because if they can get in quickly here, they've got a full quarter. They have to get some breaks, no question about it. But it's been done. They did it a year ago.
Well, the other side of that is haste makes waste. And they don't want to squander the chance. Flags are down. Raider throwing to the sidelines. Fernandez out of bounds inside the 20, and we'll check the penalty.
Wilkerson jumped off sides and didn't jump offside. He jumped into pass protection. Now, the noise is a real factor here, Dick. I can recall that snowball game of a few years ago. The noise was so intense, I couldn't even think clearly. So this stadium, of all the outdoor stadiums, the configuration makes it really tough. And the people have always suffered.
Number 68, offense.
The people that suffer are the offensive tackles. They can't hear the quarterback. They have to respond to the man in front of them.
So So on a 2nd and 2, that 5-yard penalty will now make it 2nd and 7. There you see the stadium. It's even tougher when the opposing team is going the other direction. When you get into that closed end, at least there's some open area at this end of the stadium. Sellout, sellout. That's been the theme for 20 seasons now here in Denver. You got to be, if you join the list, you'd be about 100,000 people away from getting season tickets. They've got that much backlog. Good protection. And a good catch by Fernandez at the 14-yard line.
Well thrown, well caught.
Wyman Henderson made the tackle. First down, Raiders. Fernandez, a star in the Canadian Football League before he came to Los Angeles.
He's a lot better player than I thought he was prior to the season, but now watching him week in and week out, makes big catches. He's got that size, and he's typical of the Raiders receivers over the years. Goes well down the field and goes up for a ball.
He's 6'3" and 205 in the Canadian League. He was the most valuable player with the BC Lions 4 years ago.
You'll notice he's a San Jose State man, by the way.
Right. First one I've ever met from San Jose State. Smith stacked up a yard at best, maybe more. Carl Mecklenburg, Andre Townsend and company. Just to finish on Fernandez, all he did in the Canadian League in 5 years, he caught 374 passes in 5 years.
Well, the Raiders waited for him to finish out a contract. Everybody in the NFL knew he was out there and were waiting for him to be available. And the Raiders were in on it. Much of the Al Davis mystique worked in that one.
He was picked in the 10th round in '83, so they went after him. 2nd down 9. Clock, though, ticking away. Less than 2 minutes in the 3rd. Schrader looking for an alternate receiver now. Fernandez batted away. Wyman Henderson. No, Tyrone Braxton made the play. Tried to go to the height in the end zone, but Braxton able to leap in front.
Good judgment on Schrader's part. He had nowhere to go. He had somebody right down his throat. The only thing he could do is put it up high and hope for a play.
And another flag, and it's against the Raiders. Might have been holding someone in that front wall.
Looked like Graves was really having to grab his guy.
60, offense.
Rory Graves, the left tackle. Ohio State, where he played next to Lachey. Let's look at him, 60 far left.
He's in pretty good shape here, but he's got a grip that's so tight right there. You can see it hold easy. Well, he saw Schrader in trouble. He was each man for himself about that.
That's the ice truck there. He had the old prongs out there. That's the things he used to carry those ice blocks around with. Left and right. He's going to hook on. Tongs. Screen up the middle to Smith. Another flag is down. And Smith gets to the 10, inside of the 9.
Oh, brother. I can't believe it. Everything's going wrong. It's just that the team just isn't functioning that well.
Number 60, offense.
Yeah, let's check the Graves yard.
He's in pretty good shape here. He's got a screen pass. He doesn't have to protect that long. Everything's okay, but that arm is around. Gee, I don't know. Maybe his right arm hooked the ankle or something, but
maybe you're watching a little more closely after you've just committed the foul.
Yeah.
So Rory Graves yard. 2 back-to-back holding calls that have pushed the Raiders back out to the 33. Steve Atwater shaken up, but okay. And the clock now 1:35 remaining in the 3rd. The Raiders trailing 28-0 at halftime. Got the interception return of 32 yards by Lionel Washington to make it 28-7. And they have a chance here to cut it to 28-14, but are self-destructing. It is now 2nd down and almost 30 yards to go. 29. 3-man rush. Schrader down the middle, incomplete. Another flag is down.
Well, that time Mecklenburg was putting the heat on outside, coming back up underneath Graves.
I think Jerry Markbright has rehearsed this call. Yep, 3 in a row.
maybe they shouldn't have been running.
Second down.
You're seeing more holding here than Hulk Hogan in one of his matches.
Well, we've got, it looks like it's in pretty decent shape. Now, right there is the hook, right up underneath. I don't know, Dick. Maybe they should have been running. I thought they should just continuously throw those short, tight passes. But with this in mind, Mecklenburg makes a nice move up underneath. And the arm is held. Once the man passes, once Mecklenburg is past Graves, he can't leave that arm out there.
They were at the 12-yard line. Now they're at the 43-yard line. Schrader. Is it a catch or a drop? No, incomplete. Didn't have it long enough. Mike Alexander.
This is when the crowd noise, when the crowd can really get to you. That time they wanted Schrader outside to his left to take advantage of that pass rush coming up inside. He was in fine shape, but you have to concentrate on the catch. That was a good call. They had a chance to get the ball completed along the sideline, then another down to try to get in the end zone.
Or at least to get back into field goal range. Now they're back out at the 43-yard line where it is third down and 39.
Well, they're using up the clock.
4 plays and 4 penalties in this drive. And the clock now shows exactly a minute remaining in the third. No one there. Steve Smith was well covered. Dropping off was Ron Holmes, required from Tampa Bay, the former #1 pick of the Buccaneers. He just played it very loose on that backside and was playing pass coverage on Smith.
Well, those are the kind of things that are a good play, but called at the wrong time. We had a zone defense, third and huge yardage. Then you try to look for a throwback. You know that people are going to be waiting over there for something.
So instead of a touchdown, instead of maybe even a field goal when they were at the 12-yard line, now on 4th and 40. The Raiders bring their punt team on, and the Broncos, for whatever reason, call timeout with 53 seconds. That'll give us a chance to update you on the other scores. Reeves seems puzzled about the calling of time. Miami leading the Jets by 4. The Jets got a safety. That counts for the unusual scoring in that one. Now in the 4th, San Diego leading Kansas City. The Chargers going for their first win. And after 31-0 lead, the Rams have seen Green Bay come back in the third period. 3 touchdowns.
Green Bay is starting to show signs of development. They really are. They've put together just enough talent now. They're making people like the Rams flinch a little bit. And I think they've done a great job up there.
Right after this punt, some of you are going to join that Miami and Jets game, a 4-point game. Of course, we'll stay here as it is obligatory to service the 2 main cities, Denver and Los Angeles, involved in this game. And of course, the other NBC teams will keep you abreast of any scoring developments in this contest. That one's a beautiful kick, but it's going to be way into the end zone.
10 yards in.
And it'll be a touchback at the 20 for the Denver Broncos. So for some of you, thanks for being along. The Denver Broncos leading 28-7. Thanks to the penalties the Raiders committed. Sammy Winder showing some good speed straight up the middle, and he has 11 yards and a first down before Mike Harden, number 45, the former Bronco, can make the tackle.
Winder's really been a campaigner, hasn't he, for the Broncos? Been through it all. When they hadn't done well all the way through the Super Bowls, now he says, don't give me the ball outside.
He says, I don't have to try to get outside. We got Humphrey for that. But the remarkable thing about Winder, he's the 2nd leading rusher in Denver history, over 5,000 yards, and he didn't get many long runs. His longest ever was 52 yards. Most of those 5,000 were 3s and 5s and 7s, and sometimes big ones like that, 11. He has been a good campaigner. End of the third quarter at Mile High Stadium, and it's still the Broncos, 28-7. And it appears the early returns are really favorable.
They really are. Pat Bowlen both and Dan Reeves both agreed. Following an 8-8 season, changes had to be made. They've gotten all the mileage they could out of that other group. They've gone to two Super Bowls. but with not a lot of strength and power, mostly with mirrors. Now they need the substance to play people like the Giants and the Bears, people like that in a Super Bowl, and they're doing exceptionally well. They've put people together, they've put talent together through all sources, and they're on their way.
Elway told us at practice 2 days ago as he hands off to Winder. Winder weaving his way and fights out to the 42-yard line. Another first down, a dozen more for Sammy. Elway told us that last year was the first time in his career in Denver he didn't feel the team would win. They said the team just were hoping they wouldn't be embarrassed. Yeah, and yet they were 8-8.
Right after a couple of those big blowouts. They just didn't have the strength to match up well with some teams. They certainly matched up well with the 49ers for some reason. But otherwise, they didn't match up well. Now they've got the size. I'm not sure their offensive line has mobility, but it does have bulk. And they can use Winder inside, Humphrey outside.
Now Elway staying on the ground, and the Raiders now unable to stop Winder in those last 2 carries. Humphrey now joins Alexander. It's Alexander. And the fullback driving into Raider territory to the 49.
Now that looked good. Alexander hit that hole with power. Excellent blocking up front. Now that's exactly what they're after. They have 1 quarter now to use up the clock, but more importantly to develop this running game. For the first time, John Elway may not have to carry his team. It may be just good, solid, rock-hard running. They've got the combination of 4 backs that can block, can run outside, certainly Winder up inside. So they've got all the elements put together. Very young, but they've got the elements.
2nd and 2. Humphrey. Oh, was he smacked hard by Bill Pickel, number 71. In his 7th year from Rutgers, Pickel, a Brooklyn boy. Oh, he lowered the bridge on Humphrey.
You talk about 2 tough guys, Wise and Pickel, playing defensive end for the Raiders. Neither one are the gifted athlete. They're both big, rangy.
He carried him off earlier with 15 stitches in his arm, and here he's back making a tackle like that.
Well, that's what the Raiders are famous for, or famous with, these kind of players. There's just not enough of them, and not enough with the great qualities they've had in the past.
Broncos, who are 39 out of 40 when they lead going into the 4th quarter, have the big lead in this one, and hit hard. Golick coming through and chip to hit Bobby Humphrey. Bob Golick, there he is, number 79. We asked him about his reaction when he first joined the Raiders. He said, well, in his own style, inimitable style, Golick said, well, the first thing I noticed was that, yeah, my wardrobe still works. I got a lot of black and silver stuff.
That's right.
So, pretty good hitting by the Raiders, and Horan has to kick it away. He sends one up the chute. Bobby Joe Edmonds lets it bounce, and that's going to be to the liking of the Broncos all the way to the 2. Darren Carrington downs the ball.
They have refined that art.
Well, he didn't go for the sidelines that time. He did hit the high, looking for the bounce, and got it. 28-7 Denver. The Raiders are deep in their own end. We'll be right back after these words. Nothing lead land right here, and the Raiders beat us in overtime. Let's not let it happen again. Schrader, boy, that 13 on his back. A little unlucky in terms of field position today. He's truly in the shadows of his own end zone. Out it comes to Alexander. Breaks a tackle. 1 man to beat, Dennis Smith, and he rolls him down at the 36-yard line.
That was a heck of a throw. Alexander is one of those younger players on the Raiders they think has got a great future. But did you see Smith come over and make that stop? Just had the poise, sat up inside, knew he was the only man left, just settled into that tackle.
What a first catch in the league for Mike Alexander. His first ever catch is worth 61 yards. Here he comes.
He works up the field. Smith is on his way over. Just can't wait. No, that's Atwater. Now look at this. Nice position, settled in, and he makes the grab.
First down at the 36, the biggest play of the game. In yardage. Schrader. That's going to be intercepted. Tyrone Braxton, his 3rd of the year. He's on his way now into the open field. Oh, now he saw a white jersey and fell down at the 37.
Schrader had some heat just to his outside, but the ball is beautiful defense from the standpoint of forcing him to throw over people's heads. And with that in mind, he just had to throw it over people's heads to try to complete it. It wasn't there. What he had was a corner pattern where the heat coming outside him. He had to step up and try to throw it. He overthrew it to the outside.
He almost loses the ball here.
Over the top, couldn't quite make it. That's a tough throw, especially with that pressure from his outside.
Mike Dial, the tight end, was the intended receiver, and Braxton with his third interception in 3 games. From the 36, Elway throws it into the flat to tight end Clarence Kay. Out to the 42-yard line, a gain of about 6. Tyrone Braxton. He was a late thought by the Broncos on draft day in '87. He was the 334th player picked out of 335. And looks like he's going to be their starter there, beating out Mark Haynes.
It's turned out well for him.
Vance Johnson to the near side. Mark Jackson to the left.
They've got 2 quick little receivers out there.
And it's the draw to Winder, met by Van McElroy, and flags are down.
Well, the makeup of this Denver team with the 2 quick receivers on the outside, good solid tight end play. It looks like a good team. This, of all the teams we've seen, Dick, I think this one has as good a chance as any to go through the AFC and do well. They really do. Cleveland will be a big touch.
Offense, second down.
You have to figure with all the new players that they can only get better as the season progresses, whereas last year, well, we had a note on the players just released, the Rulon Jones, Mike Harden, the Steve Watsons, players with averaged around 10 years experience in making those changes. The veterans, most of them smaller size, not as quick. Now you get new life, the enthusiasm that comes with youth, and the Mecklenburgs and the Elways have said, hey, these kids are making us believe.
Well, Elway said this team has more potential than any of the other teams. And they've been some good ones.
Elway way off the mark to Mark Jackson. There were 4 Raiders around Jackson. Maybe he threw that away knowing that there was no chance.
Well, the value in Elway in this case is he can still make his big plays while these other people learn the game. And so he doesn't have that. They don't have the heat on them to have to perform so well as long as there's a John Elway in a Dennis Smith for that matter in that secondary. Now the Raiders had some special blitzes for Denver. Mike Shanahan, knowing the Denver pass protection scheme, they've come close a couple of times, but it's hurt them because in that case, with the pressure, Elway's run for the yardage.
Elway's passing numbers not impressive, but he does have 2 touchdown passes. A little delay, and there's Winder. No way to get outside. And on 3rd down and long, the fans, they're ahead 28-7. Let's go to New York.
Dick Enberg, I know you've called some of those wild Miami, New York Jet games in the past. Another one is shaping up. Here's Ken O'Brien with a flip to Johnny Hector. Nice catch and run, 23 for a touchdown. O'Brien's second TD throw. Marino has 3. They still got most of the 4th quarter left. Miami 30, Jets 26. Dick?
All right, Bob, indeed. Remember that game a couple of years ago out in the Meadowlands, won in overtime by the Jets, and all those long passes. Mel Tunes. And that day, Wesley Walker having such a sensational day in beating Miami.
It was just yesterday it seemed that the Bear 46 defense dominated football.
Look at that kick by Horan. Edmonds does a good job spinning and turning and finally apparently stepped out of bounds back at the 24-yard line. So the Raiders have the ball. Less than 9 minutes to go. Denver leads 28-7. Back to Denver, Colorado, a beautiful Sunday. Broncos leading 28-7 after the punt. Schrader starts from his 25. He's got a man open. Fernandez down the sidelines. Now a foot race, and Fernandez will go all the way. Swerving Mervyn Fernandez ran a straight line that time, and no one covered him.
Well, the safety Smith was supposed to be over there, and he didn't quite make it. They had that big hole in behind the corner, and it was wide open. well thrown, and Fernandez really showed speed right at the end of that play.
75-yard strike, and with 8:44 left, the Bronco lead is cut to 28-13.
You see that some inherent possibilities in the Raiders. They've got the big arm that Al Davis wanted. He went out and got it. He's got a Fernandez. He's got a Galt, and of course a Tim Brown for next year. He's got some of those elements are in place, but it's just so inconsistent.
There's the try for point by Jager. So Mervin Fernandez, 4th catch, 127 yards today, a touchdown to cut the lead to 28-14. Mervin Fernandez with his 3rd touchdown of this young season, averaging well over 20 yards a catch, gets 75 yards on that one strike. And now Jager roots one deep. That's going to go right out of the end zone. That went about 75 yards in the air. Let's go back to the touchdown.
Well, veteran Smith, Dennis Smith, didn't do it. He was attracted by Dial inside and just held it a little bit, then couldn't get back over. With Smith, all his experience, a Pro Bowl football player, you'll notice that he's not breaking where he should, and that hole hits inside. Now it's just a foot race. Henderson can't catch him. Smith has lost a step, no question about it. Beautiful throw. Fernandez really showed some stride when he went out after that thing.
Boy, you think back to that drive they squandered with all the penalties. This could be a 28-21 game with 8:38 left.
Now Denver's going to have to run the ball. This is the key to the game.
Winder, who protects the ball well, gets to the 24-yard line where it'll be 2nd down and 6.
3 first downs rushing. They can probably get 5 minutes off the clock with just 3 first downs rushing. And that's what they have to do right here. They can't afford incomplete passes.
Well, that's Schrader. He does have a rifle, doesn't he? These two men, Elway and Schrader, as we talked about, there are many likenesses, and one again is their ability to throw the long ball. There's not many guys that can outrun their passes, and they've got some speed to throw to.
That's so true. Elway's got a big advantage with playing so much more football than Schrader. Also, maybe his instincts are, they're so good. There aren't many like Elway, but Schrader does have the arm.
Here comes Benson, and the throw is off to the tight end, Pat Kelly, and he gets a yard before Van McElroy comes over to make the hit. Let's update you on the other scores. Boy, you need a computer to add up all of the touchdowns of this day. Miami now leading by 4 in the 4th. 21-6 San Diego, and Jim McMahon, apparently the Chargers going to get their first win of the year. The Rams led 38-7 in that game, and now in the 4th with plenty of time, Green Bay has closed within a touchdown. Buffalo in overtime, 47-41. Philadelphia and San Francisco, that's not a correct score. San Francisco beat Philadelphia 38-28. Trying to shortchange your former team. There's the first down catch. He needed 6. He got 7 to Vance Johnson. Vance Johnson able to pick up the first down at the 31-yard line. We talked about his artistic talent, and he's been working on several projects. One is that of Sammy Winder. There is his painting of Winder. He likes Leroy Neiman, does Vance Johnson, and he also likes the work of Patrick Nagel, the late artist who painted women, and perhaps his strength, though, thus far as recognized in his shows, has been Vance Johnson's ability to do the portraits of women. In fact, a lot of the wives of Bronco players have asked that he do so. He's really interesting, well-rounded man. He says he paints every day. Practice, no practice game. He takes time every day to paint. Caught in the backfield for a yard loss. Bobby Humphrey, Jackie Shipp, 58. Former Dolphin made the stop.
Vance is doing a portrait for the Reeves family, as an example. I understand for the Bolin family. What a unique guy. So bright, so articulate. And he sort of shows that kind of football creativity, that quick darting movement.
He said the other thing he's learned that has a carryover is patience. When you're painting, you have to be patient. And maybe he said, I'm bringing that from football to my painting. You have to be patient. For example, there's his first catch. He has to wait a long time. Same with his artistic work off the field. Elway under pressure again, dumps it off to Humphrey. A good throw. And the tackle made by Mike Harden out at the 33.
That was Elway's quick release. It got away with that. Most quarterbacks have been dumped back there.
And he only gets 3 yards, but what a throw, right on the money.
Right on the money.
Vance Johnson said that Elway throws the ball so hard you can actually hear it whistling coming in. much like a baseball hitter talking about a Nolan Ryan fastball. You can hear it coming. He said, in fact, he's had several dislocated fingers in practice and games, and you see that right index finger of Vance Johnson. That's just because of the power of Elway's arm. Third down 7. Pressure, oh my, and there's a fumble. That's a live ball, and here goes Lyndon King for a touchdown. Oh my, we've got a game. Greg Townsend made the hit. Lyndon King in Honolulu surfing 6 days ago has a touchdown in Denver today.
Well, Mike Shanahan said they had the blitzes to beat the protection. They did. A totally unblocked man coming up inside. They gap blocked in here to pick McElroy up and come right up the field to King. Nobody touches him. So maybe they did have the answers. They waited quite a while to start using those answers, but they got it. They got the big play. Again, that running game in the third quarter we talked about, if John Elway and Dan Reeves had been able to run that football and use that clock, they'd feel a little bit more comfortable right now.
So Greg Townsend, the man who haunted Elway last year in the Coliseum when he returned an interception 86 yards, forces the fumble. Lyndon King gets the touchdown, and the Raiders, trying to come back from a 28-0 deficit, have their second defensive touchdown in this half. The first coming on Lionel Washington's 32-yard run with an intercepted pass. And now Lyndon King gets the score. 15 yards he rumbled after picking up the ball, and now the try for point by Jager. And there's Townsend, the man who forced the fumble. Jager makes it 28-21, and we've got plenty of time. 4 minutes and 51 seconds left.
What we get is blitzing inside through these gaps. We have an unblocked man right here when the guard tries to block down on McElroy. No one there, and Elway has no way to release that ball, no way to get rid of it. It's a full-speed sprint. In that case, he had nowhere to throw the football.
And Mike Shanahan, who's had those young furrows deepening on his brow, is happy now.
Well, you see the emotion. He's biting his lip.
Lyndon King, the former San Diego Charger, just signed this week to support that sagging, injury-riddled linebacking core. Gets the touchdown. The kickoff down by Ken Bell, and the Broncos will take it at the 20. Their 28-0 lead down to 28-21.
Unblocked people. Lanier steps out. The guard blocks down. We have a man right through the gap. Unblocked. I think Lanier should have blocked down. There must have been a call that wasn't made by that offensive line. But again, it shows Denver getting in trouble, having to throw the ball in the fourth quarter with a lead. The running game isn't quite where they hope it would be. Obviously, it's got great potential. Again, the running game. They've got to make first downs and use the clock. Force the Raiders to use whatever timeouts they have.
4:45 left, and Elway comes out throwing on first down, and he goes long. And it is knocked away at the last minute. Lionel Washington, and Vance Johnson had a half step on him. Washington made the play.
Tight play, but no time off the clock. No time off the clock. In a sense, it's the thing to do. This is good job by Washington. He's dealing with a faster man than Johnson. He just reaches in to make the play. But again, now no time used on the clock. That could have been about 40 seconds of time had the Broncos run the ball. Just think of 40 seconds as this game winds down. 40 more seconds of time.
Well, you had the feeling, even the fans, they were booing when the Denver ran leading 28-7. And you got to remember, the first thing you want to do is win the game. Then you can get the long plays after. Now Elway's racing for his life. Jackson downfield, incomplete. Almost intercepted on the deflection as Terry McDaniel, behind the play, almost picked it off. Van McElroy made the defense, knocking it free of Jackson.
Again, now obviously the Broncos are going to have to throw again. So you take 3 plays. If this is an incomplete pass coming up, you're talking about 2 minutes of football just by running the ball and not making a yard.
Boy, if McElroy came over a second line of defense nicely, and then the ball popping free in the midst of the Raiders. Well, here's a big play for Denver. Who would have thought that? The way they were controlling the game. Elway on the roll. And it's incomplete. As running Elway to the sidelines is Tom Benson.
Now the Raiders get the ball with plenty of time with completed passes into the middle of the field to tie this thing. Again, three passes. I don't know how much time they use there, Dick.
About 20 seconds.
About 20 seconds. See, one running play is 40 seconds at least. Maybe 42 or 3, the way the clock is used now. And 3 running plays, even no first downs, 3 running plays, then using your great punter to get your field position.
Exactly 22 seconds. Joka stands ahead the watch on it. That's how much time they use in those 3 plays. Now Horan to punt. Edmonds way back at his own 33. And Horan nails a honey.
What a punt.
Perfect spiral. Edmonds at the 29. Looks for a block. Has some open field this way, but a good play by Tim Lucas. Number 59, he held his ground. He didn't go inside, was the contained man. Otherwise, Edmonds had nothing but real estate to the near sidelines. 51 more yards on a punt by Horan. He's been outstanding. Listen to this crowd now cheer for the defense.
Well, the heat's on the offense, the Raider offense, the noise, the stress of having to function in this situation. They've got a shot at it. They got the 2 big receivers. They got the big arm.
Deafening as Steve Smith on the draw gets it out to the 42-yard line. Carl Mecklenburg, the tackler, along with Dennis Smith. 5 yards for Steve Smith.
Come on, speed it up. Speed it up, Raiders. Too casual right at this point. A lot of time coming off that clock. If they had 15 or 20 more yards of field position, they could be casual, but they're going to have to get going.
Timeout situation. The Raiders have 2 left. The Broncos have only 1. 2nd and 5. Good protection. Long bomb. Oh, Fernandez almost pulled that one in. Tyrone Braxton on the coverage. Boy, that Schrader, he looked as if he barely threw the ball, just lobbed it out there and it went 60.
Well, that was a hope shot that time. There was coverage on both sides of the receiver, both sides of him, along the sideline. Nothing really could happen off of that.
He was out of bounds anyway.
They need to get the ball down the field inside, even if it takes some time. There'll be some holes in that zone inside.
3rd and 5. These fans shaking the rafters here. Batted down, intercepted. Atwater. Steve Atwater. His 2nd interception today, and defensive coordinator Wade Phillips gets a big play from the rookie.
Was that a batted ball, Dick? I didn't see that ball.
Yeah, we're going to see it
Take a
again
look
right now. There's Atwater, 27, right in the middle of your picture.
He's just holding off, covering Marcus right here. Oh, just right to him. Gee, that's good hands.
But
Good
at that
reaction.
range to catch a ball thrown that hard, that's remarkable.
Atwater was just there to cover Marcus Allen, just waiting for Marcus to come out of the backfield. The throwing lane right over the top of him. He just reached up and caught it.
Well, the Raiders didn't spend a lot of time either. There's still 3:23 left. But the Broncos almost in field goal range now. This is Winder. 31-yard line. Bill Packel trailing the play. Made the hit along with Van McElroy. And time called by the Raiders. That's an interesting use of that timeout to stop the clock now at the 3:13 mark.
I guess they just want to get it stopped as quickly as they can.
Boy, it's a terrific night tonight on NBC, and we hope you'll be around to enjoy the evening with your family. Alf holds court, begins things, then the return, the premiere of the season for Sister Kate and my 2 dads, and then any of you that enjoyed the 15 years of Saturday Night Live as much as we have all those great stars. Well, tonight, the 15th anniversary special, the funniest of the lot in 15 years, from Billy Crystal, Eddie Murphy to all the rest. Saturday Night Live. You ever watch it, or you ever stay up that late on Saturday night?
I still see all the replays. They're great. The old ones are well, they're all good. But those original comedians, we didn't know how good they were until some years later.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Game movie stars. Chevy Chase and Ola gang. Well, that's tonight on NBC. Meanwhile, down in Miami, the Jets had tied the score at 33-all on a Hector run late in the fourth quarter. 2nd and 6. Benson might have been offside there. Humphrey is hit at the 26-yard line. It appeared that Tom Benson was across the line of scrimmage before the ball was snapped. Let's see. The flag is down.
Well, all the Raiders can do now to try to get the ball, do anything to get that ball clean, get it away, take their chances.
Oh, it's early signal is it's not against the Raiders.
Illegal motion. Offense.
Oh, that's a big call against Denver.
We're going to get a man upfield slightly just before the ball snap.
Illegal motion, number 87.
But did you see Benson on the outside? It appeared that he was, well, I guess that he was drawn off. Maybe that's the call, that motion is what pulled Benson across.
The man in motion can't hear Elway very well. He's looking at Benson. Benson moves, he moves. And that's the problem with motion away from the quarterback. You have to almost respond to the defensive man rather than your own quarterback's cadence.
So that takes away the gain on first down and puts the ball back at the 37, where it's 2nd down and 10 and a half. Call it 11.
Again, 40 seconds to run.
3:07 left in the game. 28-21 Denver. The Broncos led 28-0 at the half. 2 touchdowns by the Raider defense on a pass interception and a fumble have made it close. And nervous for these Mile High fans. Draw, Humphrey. Jackie Shipp was first to get there and drags him down at the 32. And you saw that quick start by Humphrey. Timeout, Raiders. That'll be their final timeout with 2:58 left. They got the 2-minute timeout. They call the time here on 3rd down and about 5. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Denver Broncos and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is property of the National Football League, Los Angeles Raiders and Denver Broncos, and all rights reserved. Well, Mike Shanahan made a remarkable comeback last year here in Denver, down 24-0, tied it in overtime, won that game, and then again in Los Angeles beat the Broncos 21-20. Here's a man, he doesn't show it and won't admit it, but from all the word you get surrounding the Raider camp, from the players to Al Davis to the press to the Los Angeles fans, Mike Shanahan, despite a 5-year contract, needs wins desperately to stay as the head man.
Or he needs his team to play consistently. They're just so erratic at this time. Not all of it's Mike's responsibility in a sense, because the talent hasn't been there as a group. Here's that same blitz again, coming up inside.
And it's the pitch to Winder, read well by the defense, but Winder on his own hard running may have the first down at the 24. Boy, credit that to Sammy Winder's hustle.
That was an excellent call. We get a trap play to the left side with both those safeties blitzing up inside. There's no one there really to tackle Winder. And people have to come off their blocks and go out there and make the stop.
That's a first down, and Elway says, well, they're using up all their timeouts. That could do us for us. In fact, they don't have to run a play now till almost the 2-minute timeout. They're 12 seconds on the 45-second clock. 2:15 now on the game clock. Humphrey, and he draws the crowd. McElroy first, and then Golick to make the stop, and that'll take it to the 2-minute warning right now.
Well, they can see Humphrey in the game. That shows you how much confidence they have in him.
So with 2 minutes to go and no timeouts left for the Raiders, it's the Broncos by 7. So the excitement continuing. The Jets and the Dolphins, and here the Broncos squashing the chances of Jay Schrader and the Raiders. And the key pill to swallow for Los Angeles if they lose this going home will be the time they had the ball first down on the 12-yard line, and then 3 consecutive holding penalties by Rory Graves, their left tackle, took them not only out of touchdown chances but field goal range.
Well, they're still sorting people out. The Raiders are still trying to find themselves, sort people out, decide who will play where and what they'll do. It's sort of an enigma. Some great things show up, and then some just absolutely horrible things show up.
2nd and 10, and here's Winder. And Mike Parton, his former teammate, knocks him down short of the first down. That'll bring up 3rd down and about 2.5. No way to stop the clock for the Raiders. Rams now take a 41-31 lead against Green Bay with 5 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
Mike Shanahan, what stress, and he's handling it extremely well. I think he's doing an excellent job, but maybe that maturity there. If he'd had 8 or 10 more years of NFL experience as a coach, as an example, or a player, I think it would be helping him immensely right now. But he's got the mind for it.
Denver has rushed the ball for 175 yards today. That's one of their major improvements on this team. Rushing offense, rushing defense. Winder caught in the backfield by Mike Wise, number 90. That'll bring up 4th down, and the clock ticks at 1:07. The 45 seconds. This is where I think 45 seconds, the final 2 minutes, seems unjust, that a team should be able to sit without initiating a play for 45 full seconds.
Now, there's about 8 or 10 seconds there that most often wouldn't have occurred because the ball would have been blown dead early, and that 30-second clock would have made the difference. But now with 45, an inside running play, you can get the entire 45 seconds. I'm sure they'll take too much time.
There's a down to 10 seconds now on that 45-second clock. So the Raiders on 4th down will have just under 30 seconds. There's the timeout taken by Denver to save the 5-yard penalty with 31 seconds left. And David Treadwell, the field goal kicker, is in the game. We'll see if they really are going to try one.
Can you describe the experience of driving?
Attempt. He gets it up, and that was the key, and he is perfect. 7 for 7 in 3 games for Treadwell, and that answers the call. The Broncos will be 3-0.
He could be the hottest kicker in the league right now. He really could. Coker from San Francisco is very comparable, but they've got that strong, steady leg. And what a difference it makes, especially at this altitude.
He doesn't have the power, leg power, that some other kickers in terms of distance, but they just marvel at his accuracy. He not only kicks field goals, but he kicks them right down the center.
Just like a machine.
So 31-21 Denver. The only hope there was for the Raiders to block the field goal, and that was the only risk taken. Next Sunday, there's our lineup. And Denver-Cleveland game building is a good one. Which one
Well, Denver-Cleveland has to be a big game early in the year for both clubs. They can still absorb a loss or two. There's no question about it. But we want to see who's dominant in the AFC. These are 2 of the real dominant teams.
There's the game I'm looking forward to. Seattle and the Raiders, 2 teams down in the Coliseum. You know why I'm looking forward to it?
I think we'll be there, won't we? You're close by.
It's our assignment. There's the kickoff by Treadwell, and he gets it into the end zone, and the Raiders take it at the 20.
Well, the Raiders can come back. They've done it before, not in this game, obviously. But this season, when they get everybody healthy, if they get in sync, if they just hang in there. There are all kind of rumors surrounding this thing and talk and dialogue in the background and rhetoric, but they're still a good enough team and a great enough organization to bring it all back together and make it work.
Well, they get Howie Long back and Jerry Robinson back. They've got Marcus Allen, but he's been quiet the second half. When they're trailing 28-0, there just wasn't as much chance to use him. He's on the sidelines now as they go to the 4 wide receivers. Schrader in the shotgun. 27 seconds to play. Schrader. Incomplete. Try to hit Fernandez. Randy Robbins there for Denver.
Schrader's biggest problem, and I'm sure it can be developed, is those passes between 10 and 20 yards. He tends to drill the ball as a hard catch to make. It might look accurate, but it's a tough catch. Elway, on the other hand, he's got such a tight spiral that people tend to be able to handle his ball a little better.
Elway, statistically, you look at his numbers today, and they're not all that impressive, but gee, he made some big plays in that first half. When they had the opportunity, Elway was there to convert. Schrader, meanwhile, is 15 for 27, 290 yards and a touchdown. 3 interceptions. He throws it long. Alexander, number 89. Elway on the day was 11 for 23. Had a couple touchdown passes to Mark Jackson. 131 yards total offense from his passing game.
Well, Dan Reeves and Pat Bowlen, both expert in the game. Pat, a wonderful owner, and Dan, a great coach. It just made this an outstanding franchise. If you think of where they've come since Dan came in and Pat came in, it's become one of the great franchises, certainly in the AFC, and they're going to be here to stay from the standpoint of continuity. Pat knows just enough football, when to step in and when to step back, and that combination makes for a great organization.
Well, a fine athlete himself, and triathlete, can relate to the rigors of the game.
I saw you're a triathlete. I saw you on the weight machine, the bike, and the rowing machine.
Marbles, bowling, and I'm looking for a third. Schrader uncorks another long one. Bounces around, and again, Alexander was the closest man to the ball. It came down, almost picked off the rebound, and now chance for a final player. Thanks to our help in the booth, Steve Azika, Mark Friedman, Ray Friedman, Cliff Dodge, Joe Costanza. The game that Denver will be happy to tuck away and go 3-0, and the Raiders will have so many chances to replay the moments. They had their own opportunities, and at the same time, Howie Long not at all happy being idle. They at the same time they left the ball on the ground too much.
Yeah, a good rest for Howie would make a difference. He really needs a rest on that ankle, because he's a great player. He can have great impact, but he's got to be in there every down. He can't be in and out of the game with a sore ankle trying to play.
Yeah, Bob Costas told you the Jets got the ball right back, and they scored on a Ken O'Brien to Roger Vick pass. And with 1.5 minutes left in Miami, the Jets lead the Dolphins 40-33.
Well, people are trying to rush 5 people against the pass, trying to play the original 46 Bear defense, and it's just the pass offense now is totally dominating the game all over the league.
Schrader just takes the kneel down. The game ends, and the Broncos out of the gate 3-0, and they're galloping using a tough defense. They beat the Raiders today 31-21.